Hello, Mr. Smith. Thank you so much for seeing me today. I've been really looking forward to this interview. I've always wanted to work for Bethesda, especially ever since I was a kid playing Fallout and Oblivion. Those were the first games that I think I've actually ever played and completed. Why do I want the job as a writer for you? As I said, I've been playing your games since I was a kid. They've been some of my favorite series that I've ever played, but it goes deeper than that. I hadn't always wanted to be a writer, but I've always loved storytelling. I've always loved creating stories. I have a bit of an overactive imagination that way. It was only when I started going to school for game design, because my original goal was to work for Bethesda as a game designer. But then I learned how much I hate coding. So I decided to switch paths and go for creative writing. And ever since then, I honestly can't get enough of it. I love creating stories. I love coming up with new ideas. So this next question, explain a work situation where I was under a lot of pressure and describing a situation where I felt most rewarded from work or college. This I'm kind of going to answer in two because they are kind of related. So, as it said in my resume, I was in the Army for 8 years. In those 8 years, I was a psychological operations specialist, and I was never deployed, thankfully. But I have gone on several training missions and have been tested several times during the course of it. The most stressful situation was when I was on a mock deployment to Louisiana, where I was given a team, and I had to make sure that that team was functioning properly, and we would do what our mission entailed. But the stressful part of this was that the team was taken away from me because they had to fill in other spots. And I thought it was just going to be folded into another team and just be a normal soldier. Command didn't have that idea. They decided to put me into a position that was 3 ranks higher than myself. A position that was normally for a soldier with about 10 to 12 years of experience with my 4. That position was a liaison to a command HQ with a consulate, where my whole job was to disseminate, take info, and distribute it to our tactical teams outside to brief the consulate staff and to brief command. This job was so stressful because it was not anything I'd ever trained for or anything I've ever done before. And I am honestly proud of how it turned out. I took that stress and I focused it on doing my best. And when I was doing my best, I actually shaped the entire mission. The things I found would change bits and pieces that led to a grander plan for the mission that was ending successfully. And as a reward, I got 2 unofficial awards. Both of them are coins. One was from the 3-star General of the Reserves, and a CIA coin because I worked with a former CIA operative. My greatest strengths, in my opinion, is my imagination, because I can come up with a story on the fly, and I can continue to build off that story little by little, bit by bit, until I have a fully fleshed out idea outline of anything. And I can take other stories and build up upon them as well. Lastly, where do I see myself in 5 years? I see my wife and I in a new home. We have a nice house now, but we could definitely use a better one in the future. I want to be a lead writer. I want to be working on some of the biggest AAA games that I can. And I think that sounds like a good life. But finally, I have some questions for you. Why should I work here and not another company? As I said before, I love Bethesda. I've always wanted to work for you, but it's a competitive market, and I just want to know what I should do. Should I continue to do this, or should I go for Activision or Ubisoft? Also, what are the opportunities to move up? I did say that I would like to be a lead writer, and that's the truth. But I'm also wondering what other opportunities I would have to move up through the company. And lastly, I understand in this position it would be a remote position because I live in Oregon and you live on the East Coast. But I was wondering if in the future you were ever thinking of opening an office in the Northwest, because as much as network would be fun, I do like to go to a place sometimes and actually interact with my coworkers. Well, thank you very much. Hope you have a good rest of your day.